Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to let you know that in this video I'm trying different things, you guys, and I think that to date one of the best things in my videos was having Oliver with me. And so I think that I'm just going to capitalize on that. That sounds like it's kind of like a blogger using their children for material in their blogs, right? And I'm going to put on my makeup today as we talk because I want to give you 3 ways to create a life that you love, okay? And I'm just going to be very generic. I'm going to put my makeup on while I chat with you. And if you want to get more fun things like this, you can subscribe to my channel where you'll get creativity, fun, and a lot of soul. It's a mermaid's mat for how to create a life you love. So the first one is that I wanted to talk about was to believe in yourself. Number one, in creating a life that you want, you need to believe in yourself, right? You know, there's this basic principle in life that is you need to love yourself enough and trust yourself enough to have the encouragement and the strength to persevere, because it's really hard. Like, I heard this really funny thing, and you guys may have heard me say it already on the other video, but it was it's like when you're trying to create a life you love, it's easy for people, like when you say for instance you're going to have friends that you're going to try to distance yourself from because you feel like maybe they're a little bit too negative or something like that. It's kind of in the same regards of like when you have a wonderful life, or when you're trying to create a wonderful life that you love, there's many aspects of your life that's going to evolve and change, right? And so sometimes, there's going to be friends that you're going to kind of put to the side, or you're not going to spend as much time with them because you just realize that it's futile for your growth and expansion, right? And so and the thing that was so funny that I'm talking about for the video was that I saw someone say, you know what, people are going to give you a hard time. People are going to put up a fight and a fuss when they see that you are changing, especially if you're going to, maybe in a sense, they have this mentality or been conditioned to believe that you're going to outgrow them. That's going to be very difficult for them. And so people will almost, in a sense, like even if they're adults, they'll start having like childish like temper tantrums, so to speak. I mean, if you want to use that kind of analogy. And they'll, create, fights with you, or they'll question you or challenge you, like, oh, now that you're started hanging around these people, or now that you started hanging around this person, you don't want to spend time with us, or you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do that. So the important thing for number one is to believe in yourself and to know that you're going to have those backlashes, right? It's totally the same way as I would give, like, people don't like change. And so especially if you're messing up their system, you know what I'm saying? Like you're messing up it was always our 3 girlfriends that went out or whatever, or it was always us as, mommy bloggers, and we'd all meet at the park or whatever. But now you're starting to become like, almost like in a sense, you're outgrowing them because you're believing in yourself more. It puts other people like under the spotlight of feeling like, okay, either I need to change and evolve too, or I'm just going to dismiss this person and just like go on about my business or whatever, and just chalk them up and put them in a square box as if like, oh, they're that way now. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll give you 2 examples. One is, what if you're just the average person like me, right? I'm not a celebrity. I'm not this or that or whatever. And so I'm trying to evolve and change, but I've been getting backlash, not consistently. Now it's kind of tapered off, but in the beginning, like, all shit's gonna hit the fan when you start to grow and want to create a life that you love, right? You just want to hang out with different people. You want to hang out with more successful people, or read different information and stuff like that. Like, people oftentimes will get irritated with you. They may not ever say it, but you can tell when people start to pull away. So number one is to continue to believe in yourself regardless, because it would be different, say if I was a celebrity. Like, I was giving an example of, like, it's different, like, I'm not anybody famous or anything like that, and yet I'm becoming a different person, right? and my friends aren't as accepting. But say, for instance, I was like, my book was, I'm just pretending right now, but my book is published and I start going on these, circuit outlets, television shows or whatever, like people start to notice like, oh, we are taking notice of Raquel now, right? If they felt like they could get on that train with me, do you know what I'm saying? Like work there, like being associated with me, they would have a different viewpoint of it and they would be more of a soldier of mine. Does that make sense? Like it's all such conditioning that it's really going to, like while you're going through this, it's going to help to weed out those people that really don't have the best and highest intentions for you, your best and highest good for you as a person. And this is really going to help you to recognize who is actually like a soldier of yours, who is a real big supporter, who is someone that really authentically loves you unconditionally instead of like the trifleness of wanting to keep you down. You know what I mean? It's like that whole thing of like, oh, I'm going to be a famous author and I'm going to be a famous artist and I'm going to be a famous blogger, right? And people will scoff at that and they'll be like, yeah, that's cute and whatever, right? They're going to sit there and think like, okay, that's wonderful. You do that, Obviously, they're going to do that. Obviously, they're going to do that because people don't want, people are okay if you want to evolve and become, expand. But as long as you continue to expand past them and they see you as a threat, like, it becomes more of a jealousy thing, and I talked about this yesterday on the video, is that they'll enjoy the fact that you are doing what's best, right? You're not going to hear somebody go, well, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to get a job at Marshall's as a clerk, okay? And then I'm going to get a second job, and I'm going to work at Sprouts as a cashier. Like, nobody's going to sit there and challenge you or like, oh my God, you're thinking way too outside the box, Raquel. That's just, good luck on that, that kind of thing. It's like people want you to grow, but if you start growing and expanding past them, people start to get weird. I have seen it firsthand. People get weird on you. So just remember, you have got to freaking have a backbone. You have got to be strong. You have got to not listen. You have got to not listen to other people, okay? Believe in yourself and don't ever back down. Don't ever stop believing in yourself. Oliver's like, what in the world is this woman saying? And I haven't even put any makeup on, okay? So this is the other one, okay? Number 2 is to trust. This is how I put on makeup every day, and I'm telling you, it takes me, you guys will see, I'm talking and everything, but, and obviously it's different if you have, imperfections or pimples or whatever, but I try to use my light, or I will use a vanity mirror. I haven't forgotten about number 2, okay, guys? And so then, like, I did a blog post on this. Like, this is when I was, like, shit hit the fan and, like, everything was horrible. Like, this is the cover girl. Like, I just use drugstore makeup. Like, you don't need, if you have a beautiful love for yourself, this is, like, a prime example. This can go into number 2. Is trusting the process, right? If you love yourself and you believe in yourself and you totally have this connection with your inner being, you don't need all kinds of fluff and stuff. Like, okay, so this is my my blush, right? And I've used this since it came out, right? And then because I'm lazy, not lazy, but I just don't like to spend a lot of time, especially I think this came from when I had kids, is that I don't like to spend a lot of time on makeup, okay? So I'm just going to put lipstick and mascara and I'm done. Well, actually, I probably should do this, okay? And I always wet it too, so, because I don't even do my eyebrows. I know a lot of people. Now listen, if I was doing a photo shoot or something, or I was going out like on the town or something, I might decide to, highlight and all that kind of stuff. And I use highlight. The only thing I use is this e.l.f. shit. Like, it's like $3 to $6, I think. And I never use this in one, but I use the white one. This is the best one that I found, like, from the drugstore, okay? And it actually really does work. I mean, you can watch tutorials and all that kind of crap. I'm not going to do tutorials because I've never been, like, super into makeup. Like, I'm such an oddball that, yeah, and this is the other trick, you guys, is that when you don't, because I don't wear foundation or anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what my hair looks like before I've done anything out of bed. Yeah. You guys, my back, I can barely move. Like, this is me doing video because I'm like, when you're trying to work yourself, you know, your business and you're working your business and everything, you have to work even when you're sick. You have to work when you're hungover. You have to keep working. And you just figure out a way to do it to where, like, if you have a hangover, well, then you figure out, like, use some essential oils, do something that's going to help you, like tips and tricks on the internet, like, or bloggers or whatever. Like, there's a shitload of information out there to figure out how you're going to do it with a hangover. Like, that's not an excuse not to work. And so I've just been sitting and typing all day, like doing blog posts. Like, I can do blog posts. Like, I can't do the photo shoot. I can't go out and do that kind of stuff because I can't really move around a lot. But you have to figure out, find things that will work for you, even if, like, your back's effed up like mine is. Okay, so anyway, so my other thing is getting a mirror like this. This is one of those mirrors that hangs, like, in the drugstore, and it's like a 20 times. They don't have them, like, you can get them, I think, too, also at, like, Bed Bath & Beyond. And they're probably like $3 to $6 or something. I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. But they're not expensive. But this is the best thing to do, you guys, is to use one of these massive, like, blown up magnifying mirrors. Not just the cheesy ones that are like 3 times, you know, or 10 times even. Because this, when people see you, when they are physically looking at you, like out in the sunlight or whatever, if you use one of these magnifying mirrors, right, that's like 20 times, you're going to see, like, hairs on your forehead, not forehead. You're going to see hairs, you know, eyebrows that need plucked. You're going to see, like, all kinds of those little teeny things that, like, even, like, the normal average person would not see, if that makes any sense, because they're not looking at you with 20 degrees up in your face like that. Does that make sense? Can you guys even hear me? I hope you can hear me. But anyway, look, so I'm doing this, and, like, I did a blog post about, like, when you're starting from scratch, starting over, like, all this stuff, there's links on everything on that blog post, raquelcarter.com. Okay, so then I'm going to go, like, I go to Sally's Beauty Supply, and, I mean, like, this is little, but it's because, hold on. It's because I use it so much. But anyway, Sally's Beauty Supply, I think they're like $1.99, but if you have your beauty card, you can get it cheaper. Okay, and then this is the trick too, you guys. When you're putting your lip liner on, fill in your lip with your lip liner. It makes your lipstick stay on longer, okay? And then all I do is I'll either use this Burt's Bees, which is like a tinted chapstick, or, you guys see that? You're probably like, I didn't expect a beauty tutorial, Raquel. Listen, I'm putting my makeup on with you, and I'm trying to give you some valuable shit here, okay? Even Oliver agrees, don't you, Oliver? Okay, so anyway, trusting the process. Okay, so this is my Burt's Bees, and this is what I mean, I've been using this for, forever. I mean, probably since it came out. And this color is called Caramel. And, like, if I ever want a red lip, I mean, I don't literally use red lipstick, but I use this one, and it's called Cherry. I think it's called Cherry, yeah. And so, you know, it's almost like red to me because that's it works best for my skin color because I'm a redhead, and I can't use, like, you know how, like, a lot of people will use, you know how, like, a lot of people will use, you know, like, blood red lipstick, like super duper red lipstick, like it has a lot of blue pigments in it. You probably, I mean, anyway, this is like a color, like, analogy. But anyway, a lot of pigments of red lipstick have blue undertones, okay? And so like people that can wear red that way are people that are usually like brunette or olive skin, and don't have a lot of yellow pigmentation in their skin color. I know I'm going way over. Anyway, the whole point is I use like that coral color. So it looks red on me because it's really, really deep and it has those beautiful orangey undertones to it, if that makes any sense. So always remember that too, especially like you want to go towards things like in colors that accentuate your face, okay? It's the only one you have. And the other thing is you don't need to go around with a shitload of makeup caked on your face, because you know what? That's a prime example of, if you do that, that just means that you have a lot of insecurities. Like, I mean, I know I used to be the kind of person, like, I remember back in the day, I had girlfriends that would not freaking leave the house if they didn't have makeup on. Like, at least they had to have eye makeup on or something. And, that to me, look you guys, I'm done. That to me means that you've got some insecurity issues going on, okay? So anyway, just number 2 was trusting the process. Like, just trust that the universe has your back. You know, when you're trying to create a life you love, the universe always has your back. You can always expect to trust the universe, because there's a lot of people, when you're trying to figure out things for yourself, that there's a lot of people that are going to leave your side. So you have to trust the process, that the universe is looking out for you. God's source is looking out for you and bringing in those people that will be beneficial for your growth and expansion, and removing, you know, organically those people that do not need to be in your life, because the universe loves you so, so much. And I think that that's a lot of times what people don't realize, is that they don't realize how much God, source, the universe, loves the hell out of you. Like, everybody there's so often people feel like they're on this lonely road and it's despair and all that. And yeah, if you get on those, I mean, that's a whole nother subject, but one that I will discuss, but you have to trust that even if it's a small mustard seed, you've got to trust the process, that everything is going to work out for you. And I have that little saying painted, and I made copies, and it's all over the cottage, you know, like one's in the car, one's on my computer desk, one's on hanging on my wall, one's on a refrigerator, one's in the bath. You have to love yourself enough to know that everything, and anyway, this is what the quote says, is everything is always working out for me. So even when it seems like shit is hitting the fan, everything is still always working out for us, at you especially, and me, everyone, even though it seems like shit's going on and things are going down and this is not good. It's basically the way that the universe sometimes has to trigger us into change. And so if you can just believe that even in the shitty times, it's still working out exactly how it was supposed to, and perfectly aligned for you, for your particular soul, because not everybody's different. Some people can be, you know, motivated to change if they have a heart attack, okay, because they drink too much. Some people can be motivated by change by just hearing someone say, I really wouldn't do that, and that's ruining and killing your business, and you're not going to ever be successful if you keep drinking all the time, right? So people learn in different avenues. People learn in different ways. Some person, it might take a jolt depending on how much resistance they do have built up over the years, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, I'm giving you guys shitloads of more information than just these 3 tactics, but you know, I just feel like it's important and vital. The other one is stop seeking perfection. Number 3, to create a life that you love, is stop seeking perfection. In religion especially, and I'm going to go there on the subject, is that so often women, you know what's so interesting too, is like, I just want to give a side note, is that, you know, last night I was going to talk to you guys because I was like bawling my eyes out, because I realized like it's so hard sometimes, like it's really tough. And and I was, thinking I'm just going to get on and shoot a video and just talk about how tough it is, because some days, like especially with my back being out and everything, it's like, I know maybe that's it's not that I'm 46 and she's old and decrepit, it's that my body, like prime example is that people learn in different ways. And when I am going so hard and like living on 2 hours of sleep for like 3 weeks now, it just makes me remember how much that everything is going to work out for me, but it's just so hard sometimes. And then it's like, it takes one of these things for me, like my back to totally like make me incapacitated, and I can't really do anything. So it's frustrating because I'm not used to being that kind of person. And so that's just basically listening to my body and those, those intuitions about feeling what's going on in our lives, because sometimes we will just work ourselves to death and we don't realize, like, your husband just left you, because you're working so much and it's been happening. And so this is our body's way of, and this is my body's way, and I bet you're in your own way learn through certain circumstances as well. But anyway, that was one of the things is that I've noticed too, that I want to make my surroundings happy and calming for me, because if anything, I want you guys to be inspired when you come to my channel, but I also want you to be, to be optimistic and to totally feel like this sense of calmness and like this sense of the, soulful enjoyment, but also feeling like this is stuff that you can do. Like you can have a life that you truly love and create that life, and that it's doable, And so that's so much of what I want to do, inspire you with joy, because what more is there, honestly? And that's why I brought Oliver out, because he always has this way of like, I don't know, well, it's because maybe he lives fully off of just being in alignment. Animals mostly do, unless they've been conditioned and things like that. But for the majority, animals live energetically. And so he calms me down, So anyway, so back to number 3, which was never mind the perfection. And in religion, which is what I was going to say, is that so often, especially women, try to seek this perfection. And I know, because I used to be that woman. I was that woman that, had to walk into church, and you had to have the most darling outfit on. You had to be noticed. You had to have like the best calling in the church, like if you were Mormon. Like there's a whole subculture and culture to, being this Mormon that's perfect, especially for the women. It's ridiculous. Like they want you to pop out, I shouldn't say that, but you're kind of like the culture, kind of encourages you to, have a bunch of kids and still look hot as shit. It doesn't matter what your husband, they kind of get a free pass, so to speak. But like you're supposed to do and have it all. You're supposed to live in the best neighborhood. Your spouse is supposed to have the best career. It's better if he is in the political scene, if he is in the entertainment scene, because there's a whole subculture of like Mormons in entertainment, or comedy or whatever. Like there's these, or the doctor scene or whatever. But like what I'm saying is it's very niched out and it's very groupie like. It's very you want to be in the cool club, okay? And that's nothing in regards to the religion in itself, but it has caused that kind of culture in this religion, which is women need to be, there was just an article, you guys, in the paper, in one of the magazines, like one of those cool magazines. What was that magazine? And it was talking about this Mormon girl, and it's like this Mormon mommy blogger, whatever. And like, I think they were standing in front of the temple or something. It was her and her husband or whatever. Like you're supposed to look the hottest, be the hottest, have a mommy blog, and it's supposed to be successful. Like there's just, it's the gamut is endless. Like not only when you go to church, like you're supposed to be hot as hell, and you're supposed to be fun fun and jovial, and you're supposed to be, you know, super creative, and not only do your kids look adorable from head to toe, but you smocked the clothes, and they're all in uniform, they all match, and they all have the same outfits, and you actually sewed them because you're everything, you know what I'm saying? And like, oh, you like this cute little bow in my hair? Yeah, I made it. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm going to the gym, and like you're supposed to be so perfectly, like, but everybody's focusing on this external thing once again, and it's like this perfectionism is what causes women to freaking lose their ever-living mind. And I know that it's not just in the Mormon culture. I'm just saying that because that's my personal experience, okay? I lived that religion for 30 plus years, okay? So I do know a little bit about it. And I was actively engaged in the religion. It wasn't like I was, a member and never went to church. Like, I really lived that religion. But I realized it was freaking killing me because there's this perfectionism. Listen, I'm going to tell you here and now, this is the lowdown on it. And now that I've learned the law of attraction, like, I freaking could give a rat's ass about perfectionism. Because listen here, you're never going to be perfect. And even when you get to heaven, you're never going to be perfect, so to speak, quote unquote, in the way that people subjectively perceive perfectionism, okay? I am absolutely freaking perfect right now. Like, and my house is not clean, okay? There's so many projects that need to be done. I didn't make my bed, so what? I need to do 50,000 things, and I don't even give a rat's ass about that either. If I don't freaking get it done for 2 years, I don't care. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that so many people are worried about this perfection. People are worried so much about this perfection that it freaking causes them to have strokes and like literally mentally breaks women down. And I'm speaking about women because I am a freaking woman, right? And I know from experience that this does not work. There is no perfection. If you knew that you could never be perfect, right? That there is no concept of perfection. Like, God sourced the universe, in a sense, has not achieved perfection. Source, the universe is always expanding. And through us, this is kind of deep shit, but maybe I'll just leave that for another video. But what I'm saying is, you're never going to be perfect. You are perfect already. So it's always looking at, like, once again, looking negatively at yourself, is that looking negatively at yourself is, in a sense, you thinking negatively, which the universe, God, source, never associates with, right? Like, God sees you as perfect now. Everything you're doing now is perfect. You've been perfect. You never made mistakes. And there's no judgment on those mistakes. And so that's where it screws people up, is that they always feel like they're striving for this perfectionism, and you're never going to get it. Like, you're always going to be evolving, right? You're never going to get this life done. You're just not, and then when you sit in heaven or whatever, you're just going to reincarnate again, I mean, it's an ever expanding universal law. And so, anyway, so stop trying to be perfect. There is no such thing, especially in the way that modern culture looks at perfectionism, especially even in religions too, So just remember that you already are perfect. Everything that you do, every choice that you make is not a mistake. You are perfect. In that decision, you made the most perfect decision, and you need to let other stuff go. Maybe you got shit that you're like, keep hanging on to. But in order to create a life that you love, you have to let that stuff go. Let the perfectionism go, okay? Let it just go. Let it flow out into just let it flow, okay? And so I hope that this video served you. And if you would like to create a life that you love through creativity, inspiration, and love, and from a little happy old soul, then subscribe to the button below. And I'll leave you a link with some other videos and like the blog post too. Maybe that'll help, because remember I was doing my makeup and I told you guys I had all those links, especially if you're starting over. Like, girl, we ain't got time for no, I mean, that's so cliche, right? But we don't have time for that, you know, going to the mall and buying all this kind of shit. Like, you don't need to be doing that, you know? If you're trying to start your life over, like, there's more important things. Like, you got to keep things basic and minimalist. And so, anyway, as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao!